Next up, we have Function of Beauty. This is Zahir Dossa's company. It's all about hair. I take very good care of my hair, and I'm very interested in this. Could we watch that video?
Before Function of Beauty came along, the problem is we'd walk into a drugstore or a salon and be overwhelmed by an entire wall of different options. The problem is those options didn't really change too much, and were definitely not tailored to you, a customer. So it's just decision overload with zero satisfaction with whatever you ended up walking out of the store with. So we come to the stage and we basically say, rather than companies coming up with these pre-prescribed formulations, we want to come up with something that's revolutionary in the beauty space, which is a very individual and unique formulation for every single person. Customers no longer have to figure out how to do the different trade-offs. They just tell us exactly what their hair profile is, their hair goals, everything they kind of want in a shampoo and conditioner, and then our chemists and our algorithm figure out the rest. Right now, our prices are $18 for a small bottle or $23 for a big bottle. That includes shipping. So we do it in terms of sets. So $36 for a small set, $46 for a big set. It's more expensive than what you would buy at probably a CVS or Walgreens for the most part. But it's pretty much on par with what you would walk into a Sephora, and then generally cheaper than your salon brand. We ended up doing a pop-up store in Nolita last fall, which went really well. What was really cool about it was customers for the first time were able to see the magic that is Function of Beauty, that they could actually see a bottle being placed under a funnel and watch all of these ingredients kind of come in. And that kind of inspired us to actually launch a flagship location. Hopefully by this summer, or at least at the end of the summer, we'll have a flagship location in Soho or Nolita, where customers will be able to actually experience the chemistry and algorithm and all the cool technology behind the brand. So it's not just something that resides on the web, it's something that is actually tangible.
All right, Zahir, if you want to come out. Welcome, welcome. I'm embarrassed I did not dress as well as you.
Yeah.
But you're in beauty.
Yeah.
Your hair is so lustrous.
It wasn't always this way.
Really?
Yeah.
What did it used to look like? You used to like
that, with a super buzzed.
Oh God, what happened to you?
I decided.
You decided. All right. Okay. That's frightening. So I'm going to start with the sloth question. If you and a sloth were to fight,
Yeah.
you think you have the tenacity to take down a sloth?
I would. Or I'd die trying.
Okay.
So if I'm in a fight, I won't lose.
All right. So.
Well, I could lose through death, but ideally, and I'm a pretty good tree climber, so.
Was our mic dead? All right, good. Do we need to go back to the sloth question? Did you hear the sloth question? If you were to fight a sloth, would you win?
I would win.
You would win.
Yes.
You believe implicitly because of your tenacity.
Because of my tenacity. Now I could die trying.
Yes.
Which is.
So you guys would be in an embrace of death.
Yeah. And if the sloth tried to run away, I would chase it up a tree and take it down.
Okay. Explain this whole shampoo thing. So I have hair goals, right?
Sure.
What are my hair goals specifically?
So everybody's different.
Yes.
We offer people the ability to choose 5 hair goals. So it starts with your hair type, and so that builds the base of your formulation. But let's just say, you're... You
can touch my head if it's...
No.
Okay.
I think I got a decent set. But let's just say you want to start growing out your hair. You can choose lengthening. You can choose volumize. If you think, you might be starting to lose hair, you can think about doing some replenish hair or anti-aging. And then if you want to change the color, or do a cool dye job, I'd probably recommend color protection.
Okay. So why did you choose shampoo? You guys went to MIT, you and a co-founder. The co-founder was a woman, right? And she was a chemist?
Two co-founders, yeah.
Okay.
So one of my co-founders went to MIT, the other went through a different path, but formulation chemistry, yeah. So my dissertation, so the PhD I did at MIT was focused on value chains and trying to optimize value chains using computer science as a mechanism for making things more efficient. So I looked at a bunch of bloated value chains and realized that beauty is probably one of the most bloated value chains you can imagine. And so that got me into my first beauty startup, primarily as a proof of concept, just to say, if I eliminate middlemen, if I go direct to consumer, can I do it? So that was a success. And then reading customer feedback, everybody said that they had a different idea for how to improve. And generally, you have to produce like 100,000 bottles of each formulation, so that was impossible under the current system, and so that's when I came up with the idea for Function of Beauty.
Okay, so it's almost like 3D printed shampoo.
Almost like 3D printed shampoo.
All right. So this is interesting. So a lot of these guys, everybody tells them you have to follow your passion. This has to be like something that you were born into. When you were a child, you came out wanting to make shampoo.
Yeah.
But you basically wrote a dissertation and said, what is the crappiest industry that I could get into to fix and improve? And if it had been, I don't know, dog food, you would have gone dog food, right?
I probably would have. Now, ironically, we joke, my co-founder and I joke about how this was our childhood dream and passion. Ironically, it was for him. In third grade, he actually wrote a paper on shampoo production. Me, on the other hand, it was basically like, what's the biggest problem I can solve? Now, I would lean towards retail and CPG just because I love front end. Like, I can code full stack, but I love front end development, and I love a product that you can actually feel, touch, brand. But yeah, so I'm passionate about function of beauty. Before this, I would not have.
So you're more passionate about the function part, and then your co-founder is passionate about the beauty part.
Correct. Yeah.
So that's interesting. So you guys needed each other to take it off.
We did, absolutely.
Could either of you have done this by yourselves?
No, I think one of the reasons why we were able to get so much money initially was we just had obviously a huge solution to a huge problem. But the second half, I think we just had the perfect team to do it. So, I could do the computer science, algorithm, front end, marketing stuff. One of my co-founders could come up with the actual stuff to put in the algorithm when you say these are your hair goals, whatever, this is what should come into a bottle. So that's the formulation chemist. And the last is my co-founder who actually came up with a way of making it all possible. So actually being able to automatically fill every single bottle in a way we've never done before.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about so your wife is here in the back.
My wife is here in the back, yeah.
Now, has she ever told you to stop doing this?
No. She's been my biggest supporter and fan. Obviously, she has beautiful hair, and so that she's probably biased and incentivized.
Okay.
She had beautiful hair to start out with, but she does say that she starts wearing her hair more curly more often as a result of our products. So yeah.
Well, was there ever a time when you guys were fighting each other because you wanted to keep going and she wanted to stop?
That's a great question. So she never wanted me to stop. I think there was one point where he and my co-founder needed to move to Stamford, Connecticut. And I decided to just up and leave Dallas in the matter of 4 days, saying, honey, we got to move. So I think that was, I think I've learned to start having conversations.
And why did you have to move? Why did you have to move so quickly?
I needed to be closer to the product. I wanted to go all in. I was afraid if I half-assed it, it would just be a great idea that just didn't end up going anywhere.
Well, why didn't you do it back down in Dallas? Why didn't you just start running it there?
So the Northeast is great as a cosmetic corridor. Plus, I needed my formulation chemist. And if he needed to move to Stamford, Connecticut, I was willing to do that to make the company happen.
Okay. So you guys have a product, and it looks very delicious. I would like to eat one of the blue ones.
Don't do that.
All right, good. You had to market this product.
Yeah.
So you guys made an amazing product, but you couldn't sell it, right?
Well, initially, so we had great growth initially, but the problem with it was, but not crazy growth, not the growth we've seen now. And I think one of the big things was, and this is Joe from Airbnb, our original thing was function of beauty, personalized hair care. And he's like, the biggest mistake most entrepreneurs make is they focus so much on what their company does and not why they do it. And so that's when he came up with the tagline, celebrate individuality, as something that would be a core mission and focus. So we ended up halting all marketing and PR, launched in October, and have gone crazy ever since. But now, kind of going back to it, we've now been able to at least come up with a great product, but what's that next step? Like, how do we become one of these great brands that we always hear about? And I think that has a very strong lifestyle and branding component. So I think right now we sell products. I think we're working on how to actually sell a brand.
What does selling a brand mean to you? What do you want to do?
I think it's clearly expressing to customers, like, this is what you're buying into. Here are our values. Here's the lifestyle piece to it. Here's the expertise, like why our products are great. Here's what hair experts have to say. So it's everything beyond a product. Every touch point, every emotion that a customer feels. It's a little fluffy, but I'm realizing more and more how
fluffy.
Important it is.
How can you create that? How can you, as a guy with beautiful, lustrous hair?
Well, this was probably a first step. One thing I realized is I probably wanted to grow out my hair to truly understand what this experience would be and how different formulations impacted. It's hard to feel much when you have shorter hair.
My hair is it's like straw.
Yeah. Once you start growing out, then you start realizing. We were telling customers to shampoo and condition every day for certain hair types. Like, that's impossible. Like, if you tell, and now I know because it's a pain to do it. So I think that's one point, is like really starting to understand consumer behavior. But I think it's going the next level. If your mission is to celebrate individuality, like, what does that mean to us as a company? What are things we find inspiring? And then what are some thought pieces that we can throw out into the world as well to back up our company and our story?
So you've launched in October. What did you think your next most important hire would be? And what do you know your next most important hire is going to be?
Well, that's a really good question. We had to let go of somebody early, right when we launched. We wanted somebody to really focus on the content and creative part of marketing. And we realized we were just kind of pigeonholing our head of marketing there. So it was nice to see when you make room for people, how they can grow and expand. And she's done a phenomenal job, as we've seen. But I think our second thing is also just, I was coding and designing everything when we launched. So being able to take that off my plate, and we now have a full stack developer and a creative director / designer, both of which have been, incredible for me to. I never thought there would be a day when I would stop coding, despite what other founders said. It's crazy how quickly that day came, and how grateful I am.
Is there anything you guys think that you really messed up in the beginning?
I do think one of it was this tagline on what we did. We also had like these muted spa colors. We were handwriting names on bottles. So I think the idea was there, but I think the execution just wasn't at the level that we saw it, happen and grow since October, since our relaunch. So I think if I could have gone back in time, I would have started with the why we're doing it. But yeah.
Why were you doing it that way? Did you think that's what people wanted? Did you just see it in your own head? How did you confirm that people didn't want a handwritten bottle that looks like, I don't know, sandalwood? Customer
feedback is an important piece, and when they don't like something, you hear about it pretty quickly. But I think it came from that like engineer folly, right? So one of the cool things is like this is the first time all of these engineers have really gone, deep into the beauty industry and say like, this is finally like the new and better way of doing beauty formulations. But I think the flip side of that is you just see it as such an obvious solution, like personalized hair care. And so you focus so much on the solution you're bringing to the market rather than the actual product, why you're doing it, all the other things that make a brand so important. And I think that was a huge learning experience for me to be able to get a little less geeky and a little bit more in touch with the customer.
Did you ever think you were going to not pull it off?
Absolutely. Without a doubt. I mean, we had these great sales, and then suddenly, we raised this round from angels, and suddenly you're watching the money slowly go away as you're investing in growth and whatnot, or in capacity building. There's like 5 months where we just had very minimal sales without marketing or PR or anything. And I think, it was tough. I think at that point, that was probably the lowest of the lows. And then the second, I actually was leaving for my honeymoon, and I saw the first day of sales go out the day before I left on this cruise with no internet, and I knew it was going to be great. Like it was.
You're going to make it. So, yeah. Right. Very cool. All right, and you would beat a sloth.
And I would beat a sloth
to death.
Maybe not to death. Maybe I'll just like. Because I do feel I'm very anti-cruelty to animals. So
well, this is a hypothetical sloth.
Okay, a hypothetical, mean, cruel sloth would hurt other animals.
Yes, like an evil sloth.
Take him down.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us.
All right, thank you guys.
Let's give these guys a round of applause.